What's going on, everybody? It is James Schleicher, and I am here with a very good friend of mine. I like to call her Lee the Leader, but she is also known as Lee Nesler, and she is the director of the Lake Humane Society. And absolutely, now we stole you from Florida, right? You were living in Florida,
I was living in
correct?
Florida,
So we
yeah.
literally stole you away from, the sunshine and all that stuff. And you're like, I could really go for some snow and some sleet. And but she has done amazing things, amazing things
Thank
since
you.
you've been here. So thank you. And I am super excited. We're gonna talk about her hashtag IBB top 3.
Trilogy.
Oh, and so this will be part 1 of 3. So make sure you come back and check out her other keys to success. But Lee, now that I've rambled on, if you wouldn't mind sharing your first key to success.
Well, I think everybody's a leader all the time. And so people make a lot out of leadership that, you have to read the book, you have to be the best leader that you can be. But, on any given day, you're leading by example. Whether it's your team of 30 employees, whether it's that person behind you at a checkout counter where you're kind and gracious to the clerk, or you pay it forward and you pay for somebody's coffee in Starbucks. You're leading by example. And I think that it's just really important to realize that every action you make changes somebody's life and can be something that people want to motto after. So you have to really be centered in yourself and do the best that you can be.
So how do you remind yourself to, and even if you want to go back to kind of early on in your life or your career or whatever, obviously when you do have the official title, you're it's kind of your friendly reminder every morning is that like, hey, I am the director. I need to direct with leadership but like even for anybody, talking about anybody in any scenario at any moment is a leader, and I love that. What are some things that maybe helped you before your business card matched your leader? What you knew,
Right.
knew you were a leader long before you were in the role. If that makes sense. So like, what are some things that you would focus on early on?
So one of my main things is I want to facilitate someone's job getting done. I should never impede their job getting done. And
Okay.
so I say that now, but I take that back to the days when I was like a vet tech or, helping in the animal field very early on, because I've always done basically the animal work.
Mhm.
And I would always anticipate what the vet needed, what the vet wanted. I tried to be one step ahead. And
Okay.
so in that way, I feel like I facilitated. When I was younger, I would help my dad with building projects and things like that.
Yeah.
So I would always, he's going to need the nails, he's going to need this, he's going to
Okay.
need that. So whether that makes my personality type a helper, I'm not quite sure. I'm sure there's a test that I could take that would help me decide that. But what I feel like is even though I sit in a different chair, I still need to facilitate everybody's job
Mhm.
from the ground up. And I need to be able to help at any given level at
Yes.
any given time.
Yes.
So that's just something that my core is. And I also like to facilitate people having a better day. So if I see someone at the checkout counter and I can tell they're having a miserable day, I'll engage in conversation. I always try to make them laugh.
Yeah.
Because that just is something I can give that cost me nothing. It was just my time, but it's creativity and wanting to help facilitate them making it through the end of their shift. Or if I see them giving excellent customer service with a very difficult client, I always comment on that and say, I understand how hard that was. I work in customer service as well, and you did an excellent job. You may not hear it from anybody else,
Yeah.
but I want you to hear it from me.
Yeah.
So feedback's really important for people, and positive and negative. But, if it's not my business, I'm not going to provide negative feedback.
Right.
But I will provide positive feedback, especially when I know no one else is going to give it to them. And I think that's really important.
And do you feel that too, like the vision of like staying one step ahead, that allows you to also see those little you're not so caught up in being behind or caught up in the moment that you actually can see what's happening and say, hey, here's the little moment in time, here's a little leadership moment, and I can compliment this person, I can brighten this person's day.
Correct.
So here is, and I don't know if it's a trick question, I don't know, whatever, but
I can't wait.
so when you're talking about staying one step ahead, And obviously, over time, people get to know you, they get to trust you, they say, okay, Lee's extremely genuine. Lee's not trying to take my job. Lee's not trying to make me look bad. Lee's just trying to help me, it's without impeding.
Right.
So I feel like that's always a struggle too, of from if you're, from a political hierarchy standpoint in any organization or company. Is there any tips that you give of anticipating what your leadership team will need, as you're climbing the ranks yourself, without kind of hurting your own trajectory by making it seem like you know better than them, or you are. That makes sense. Like, it's just kind of like coming off non-threatening to your leadership team as you're becoming the leader as well.
I think some of the things you can talk about is, in my experience, I've seen this. I don't know how we want to prepare for that, and doing it in we terms, but one potential outcome could be this. So let's make a plan to, head that off. One potential outcome could be this. One potential outcome could be this. So you have to take, that foresight that you have and just kind of throw it out there. And if your team poo-poos it, then, don't stand up, jump up and down and go, but I know this is going to happen. You don't know, but you just have a feeling, and sometimes your gut is really head on, so you have to at least say it. You have to at least put it out there. But it's not yours to fix. And that's, sometimes as you're an emerging leader, we like to fix things. But it's not always our job to fix everything. Yeah. So, just building an awareness and saying, how do we prepare for that? Who's the best for this role? And, one way to kind of hone your skills is when there are projects that come up, you can request to be the leader, but don't do it all the time, because you have to learn how to be a good follower as well.
Yes.
And I just went on a vacation. It's very funny. And this is a person I've known for 30 plus years, and I wasn't driving the bus, I wasn't driving the car, I wasn't leading the vacation, and she really wondered, like, how's that gonna go? And she's like, you just got in the back seat and shut up and read a book. And I'm like, I was so glad to turn that off. It was fabulous. But she asked me, she said, What's she gonna say? What's she gonna do? Right, yeah. Do we have to turn right? So it was funny. I was so glad, and we have such a great friendship that we were able to have these candid discussions, which, I love good discussions, good conversation. You learn so much from. And she was like, I just really wondered. And she said, I talked to my husband about that. I wasn't sure how she was gonna be. And she's like, you just rolled with it. And I'm like, any given opportunity for me to go, the hat's now yours.
Yes.
I'm fine.
You wear the leadership hat.
Right. And so you have to know when to, embrace it. There's times when you have to take charge, but then there's other times where you need to let the team make the decisions, and then there's other times you just need to sit back.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything you say to yourself or something that helps remind you, like if you would like catch yourself leading when you shouldn't be, if that makes sense? Like taking, not so much leading when you shouldn't be, but taking charge when you should be sitting. Is there anything that helps remind you to not overstep?
So sometimes, because I'm extroverted, I could be the only one talking. Because if somebody else...
I never talk, Lee. What are you talking about?
No, what I'm saying, I'm not sure you can,
No, I'm with you.
So there's this void. You're in a team situation. It's not your job. And, of course, I've got a few scenarios, but I had to tell myself, don't be that person. This isn't yours to run. And, contribute, but you don't have to. If somebody asks, I will always give. But, sometimes certain people, and I'm one of them, I'm a problem solver. I love to work on those types of things. And they jazz me up and I get all excited and how's this going to work? But it's just not always your role. And one of the things I always remind myself is to, I say, throw it out to the universe, please let my words be heard and understood. Because, language, we'll get to that. Oh, that's a precursor. Sorry. Precursor to number 2. But you just have to be really careful with what you say. And, you don't want to overstep.
Yeah. That, there's so much miscommunication. So obviously, sneak peek into future videos. But no,
we said trilogy, right?
So we did say trilogy. So, well, all right. So there is obviously you are the day you come out of the womb, you're a leader. You know, like basically, you know, just in everything.
Some people, yeah.
You know, like I will say that even, you know, JJ's 15 months old, and when he's you know behaving himself, I'm like, man, what a guy, what a leader. You know, like what a, you know, and just and two, one thing that what I have found myself saying, we're talking to the younger crowd or the younger generation, just like nobody expects anything of you. So if you do anything remotely leadership style, like, or you know, like, you are gonna stand out like no other, because you know no one's expecting it. So lead in everything you do. Second thing was you know, talking about like don't overstep, like, you know, take the leadership hat off and put it on someone else, you know, like for.
It allows them to grow.
And it also too allows you to keep your sanity.
Right.
So
you don't have to manage everything. Yeah. But you want.
But the truth, that's there. It's not about leadership and management.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Two different things.
Yeah.
But you want other people to be successful, and you want other people to have experiences. So, you know, think of it more as I can be a mentor in this. I can hand this off, and I can be a mentor. If they need anything, they can come to me. And so, and if they've got it, fly. I mean, but that's it. And, you know, one thing I do want to bring in is, you know, gender equality, and, you know, how for the longest time when I got in the animal industry, I mean, there were not women in the animal industry.
Really? Okay.
And so, you know, in the mid-80s, just saying that, you know, women, very few women in zoos, in shelters, and so, you know, it's really now shifted, and luckily for me, you know, I've received this job at Lake Humane, but, you know, don't feel like you can't be a leader. You know, step into that natural role you're meant to have.
And so for other people that may feel that they don't have that equal opportunity, like for me, I'm the luckiest human being, you know, like to be born a white male. I've never had to walk into a room and wonder what will they think of me, you know, I never had to carry the weight of that. You know what I mean? Like, truth be, like, and that's where, and obviously it's just, it is a thing, and that's where so for me, but I can't bring anything. I can try and create opportunities, but I can't truly ever understand. So for anybody who's watching this, that's like, hey, I feel like I don't get that equal at bat, or I feel like I get that equal opportunity. Is there anything that you would say that has helped you say, listen, there's all these dudes running around thinking that they're smart, and, you know, like, and we're not, you know, we're not.
Well, let me tell you about my first
so go ahead.
zookeeper experience. I was told that I was overeducated, and that they really didn't want to hire me because I had a degree in animal science with a specialty in animal behavior, which made me think that I really had everything I needed. And do you know what sold it? I told them I was a big girl with a strong back, and that I could pick up anything any guy could pick up. And that's basically how I got the job. So there.
So anything you can do, I can do better. No, that's cool. No, that's,
but you know, now of course
that's a perfect example of I would never have had to even have that conversation.
Right.
So
right. I was a woman and I was educated, and you know, they thought that I wouldn't last. I wouldn't, you know, stay in that field. So it's interesting.
Sorry, take that. Yeah. Sorry. I'm sorry.
But things have changed so much, and you know, we're a part of that evolution. We're a part of that awakening, and you know what you're doing, and to inspire today's youth to really believe in themselves. And you know what families can do? They can take a complex project like the family vacation, and they can have someone younger in the family work it out. You know, when do the plane tickets need to be bought? When does the hotel need to be booked? When, you know, what do we want to pack in our suitcases or in the cooler for the trip to the cabin, or something like that? Those are some complex things where now the parents can be the mentor and the children can tackle a large project. And that just gives them the kind of confidence and
ownership.
Correct.
Yeah. No, and you've used the term mentor a few times here, like, and I feel like that could not be there's no better way to explain like the true leadership is a mentor, not just a boss or whatever like that. So
Think about what I do with animals all the
Yeah.
time. We train
Yeah.
all the time. We lead all the time.
Yes.
Sometimes I'm on
Yes.
the end of the leash, sometimes I'm not. But,
yep.
that relationship, which of course is the most important thing, the relationship you have with yourself, with your coworkers, with your job, with your pet, a positive relationship takes you farther. And so, that's part of what we do every day.
Positive relationship takes you farther.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. Very cool. Well, this has been awesome. Anything else to add? Anything?
I think I'm good. Thank
Awesome.
you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us for part 1 of our trilogy. And until next time,
Stay bird proof.